Welcome back to the 52 Weeks to Wealth. This is Wealth Principle 31. When setting sales goals, go for no. We've been journeying through the 52 weeks over the last 31 weeks. And what we've discovered are ways to build wealth, increase our income, and reduce the amount of time we spend in our businesses. Hands to the camera if you've been getting value from the 52 weeks over the last 31 that you've been here. Excellent. Who's been here for more than 31 weeks? Started in our first season. Awesome. Let's give yourselves a round of applause. You see, the people who go through it the first time see results. They increase their income, they double what they're making, and then they come back again to improve. Sometimes they're just there to test it out the first time and they don't apply. Hands to the camera if you know there's some people who didn't apply in round one the first time they went through it. Excellent, excellent. Most people do. Most people do. And hands to the camera if you know you applied, if you've had results, if you've seen improvement. Excellent. Awesome. Now, Wealth Principle 31, when setting sales goals, go for no. This comes from a book that we have all of our sales team read. And that book is called Go for No. Mike Schein, if we can get you to review the book of the week, our keeper of the books.
Here you go. Go for No. Very short book, great for salespeople. I enjoyed it because it kind of reminded me of, because it has a story of wealthy gardener, rich dad, poor dad, and life in air. You know, it's like a story. Guy gets bonked on the head, goes 10 years in the future. It's Darina's favorite book. She's always pushing it on the wholesale mastermind group. It's awesome. And the theory is that you don't get your yeses in sales and then sit on your laurels. You go for no and you keep working it, which makes you make more calls. Anybody who's doing sales, which, by the way, if you've been in this group for any length of time, you know that you're all in sales, should read this book. It's, what did I say? It's so short. 76 pages. I crushed it on Audible last night again to review it. It's a great book, and it's definitely great for salespeople. Thank you.
Let's give Mike Schein a round of applause. The keeper of the books, our holistic attorney, the closer. Books are part of what we do here. We read one book a week. That gives us 52 books at the end of the year, which gives us a 1 to 52 advantage over the average person. The average person reads one book a year and they don't even finish that book. Whereas in this community, we read one book a week, which means we're 52 times more advanced than the average person. Every year, that gives you an additional advantage. I've read over 350 books, and do you think that has had an impact on my income? It certainly has. It's increased it. It's improved my abilities to communicate. It's increased my ability to earn and to get to the next level. You don't need to read all of the books. That's the truth. But there are 52 that we strongly suggest you do. Those 52 are laid out. We talk about them each week. If you can keep up, read a book a week with us. Read along. It makes a lot of sense. Now we're going to do the exercise pretty quickly. Go for no stands for not knowing exactly, not needing that yes. Like when you're cold calling and you're looking for prospects, when you're looking for the no instead of the yes, you celebrate your failures and your successes because you're going to have more failures. Part of life is failures. But if you can look at it as, okay, I learned something. Every failure was a lesson. Every failure was an opportunity. Every failure gave me something. Or even if the failure is just, I need 10 more of these in order to get to my number, I've got to, failure 8 means failure 9 is coming. Failure 9 means failure 10 is coming. And if failure 10 comes, that means your success is right around the corner. Sales is a numbers game. It's about how many people can you contact? How many people can you reach out to and build deep rapport with? There is a point where conversion hits a maximum. There's a point where in real estate as an agent, 34% is considered the highest conversion rate. Anybody who has a higher conversion rate than 34% typically was called, right? They were called to have a great marketing strategy. So I've had agents tell me, oh yeah, I have 95% is my conversion rate. No, you got called. Right? They already know who you are. You've got a great marketing system and you can't fail because they called you. Does that make sense? They don't walk on the lot lest they intend to buy. So agents who call, who jump into the game, salespeople who jump into the game, those people have a much, they're facing a conversion rate maximum of about 34%. So it's a numbers game at that point. How do you increase your income if you can't increase your conversion? You increase the amount of people you're speaking to. You get more people through the gate. And the way to do that is to keep going. So the problem most salespeople have is they make a phone call. If they win, if they get an appointment booked or they get a deal done, they stop calling. Whereas if they knew that every 20 calls they were going to get a yes, they set a goal for 100 calls, that would mean 5 yeses. Hence the camera, if that makes sense. And that's the truth. That's about the number in real estate. It's not that many calls, it's that many conversations. For every 20 conversations you have, one of those will be a yes. And so you've got to have 100 conversations to have 5 yeses. And of those 5 yeses, you got your 34% you're dealing with once you get there. So it's really important to make at least 100 calls in order to get to 2 closings. That's 2 closings. And to do 100 calls, it's going to take you almost 6 to 8 hours. Well, probably closer to 8 to 10 hours, because every 100 people you talk to, every 200 people you talk to, you're going to get through about, every 200 dials you make, you're going to get through to anywhere between 10 to 20 calls, like actual phone calls, actual conversations. Most of those numbers aren't going to pick up for you. That's why we use a dialer. It's why we use Mojo Dialer or call tools, because the time that it takes to use a power dialer is way better, way faster, more efficient. Hence the camera, if that makes sense. We want efficiency. If we know we got to hit a numbers game, we can use systems. We can leverage tools. Excellent. So one of the reasons we use go for no is because we want to be able to get past our failures quickly. In the mentorship, you've heard us talk about celebrating our successes, celebrating our wins. In this book and in this principle, we talk about celebrating our failures, going and looking at our failure and saying, yes, awesome. This is fantastic. We've discovered one more way that this doesn't work, like Edison, right? There's 1,000 different ways to not make a light bulb. Celebrating your failures. Hence the camera if you've ever had a failure. Yeah, hence the camera if you ever forgot to celebrate it. It's easy to just get bummed out by the failures. It's easy to be like, oh man, like I wish that didn't happen to me. But the truth is, the failures are lessons. They're some of my favorite opportunities. I mean, I don't go looking for them, that's for sure. But if they do happen, I get excited because that means I don't have to let that happen again. If I learn from it this time, it doesn't have to happen to me in the future. So I can just learn the lesson and I can move on. And somebody else can also learn the lesson from it. Rod Khleif has a saying, every failure becomes a seminar. So as we learn, we can teach, we can share our lessons so that somebody else doesn't have to suffer the things we're suffering. The most empowering word in the universe is not yes. It's no. It's no, because for every no you get, there's a yes around the corner. The more no's you get, the closer you get to those yeses. So think of no as a very empowering word. When somebody says no, and you could write this down, it saves you time. You ever been in a sales appointment and somebody said no and you just couldn't get through to them and you couldn't close them? You ever been there? Imagine if you just walked away. I mean, make sure it's a real no. Like, do the qualifiers, make sure it's a real no. But when somebody says no, man, I saved so much time. I love it. I'm so thankful for it now. It means I can move on to somebody who wants to have the conversation, somebody who wants what I got. Go give them a chance. Answer Cam if that makes sense. Awesome. So here's the exercise for this week. I want you to identify what your goals are in sales. By the way, as was mentioned earlier, we are all in sales. There are two industries that are really going to take off over the next 5 years. That is marketing and sales, professional services for sure, e-commerce, but there's a lot of jobs that are going away because of automation, AI, robots. And you can already see that marketing and sales are doing fantastic. Those roles need to be learned because companies don't have enough marketing people or salespeople. They're very creative jobs. The other day I was asked, I was like, oh, well, the person said that AI could learn sales. Yeah, one day. But sales is a very complex process. It is a very intuitive process. You really have to pay attention to the person in front of you. And there's so many variables, so many things that can go right or wrong, that it's going to take them a long time to replace us as far as sales goes. But what AI is replacing is basic stuff, right? Like cold calling, right? Algorithms and systems. Ron and I were talking the other day. We have a system that automatically will email you if you hit a certain place on our website, if you click a certain link. This was actually Mike Gabriel set it up. It's called Active Campaign. And it's like a narrow AI where it just, you do this, it does that. You do this, it does that. But we can tie it to other systems. So now it becomes more creative, where if this happens, it does this or that. So there are like Facebook knows. I did a post the other day, which I thought was fantastic. I shared a blog that I thought was a great blog for everybody to read. It was about undercover billionaire. And nobody saw it. I looked at the blog and I was like, I know the community would love this. I don't know why they're not liking. And then I copied just the 8 principles and I pasted that into a comment, and I deleted the blog article, dropped it in the comments. Suddenly a bunch of likes and views and comments. Facebook doesn't like blog posts. The algorithm is intelligent. It knows that people don't like seeing those. But if you go and create the content that it likes, that other people like, it will share your posts. Hands to the camera if you ever notice when you share a blog post off Facebook, it doesn't like that. YouTube, if you share a YouTube link, Facebook says no bueno. The algorithm is designed to expand itself. It's designed to perpetuate itself, to get more people on Facebook. These algorithms are very intelligent. They're operating as a narrow AI, and they can do quite a bit. They foresee quite a bit, and they're tools. They're powerful tools. Leverage them. Don't be afraid of them. Leverage them. So I want you to write down what number of people would you have to contact? How many people does it take for you to get a yes? How many people do you have to call or contact in order to get a yes in your business, in your industry? How many people do you have to text or voicemail or email or Facebook message or send a mailer to in order for you to get a yes? So for real estate agents, real estate investors, I'll say it's for every 20, you're going to get 1. So write that number down. Write down what your conversion number is. And once you have that number, identify how many closings or how many deals you would like to have this week. And this is just this week. You don't have to do it again after this. But I'd like you to, for 1 week, go and contact this many people. I want it to be something a little crazy. I want you to know it's possible. I want you to write down a number that is totally possible. So if you're using Mojo Dialer, you could call 1,000 people in 5 hours. If you're not, well, then you need to have a much better list. You're a much more qualified list. And I want you to this week, go and make those calls. Going for no, aiming for somebody to say no to you. I mean, throw it all at them. Hey, by the way, this is what I'm looking to do. If they say no, awesome. Hey, who do you know? Who do you know is interested? Let's give Melanie a round of applause. It's her birthday. Hands to the camera if you're committed to taking this exercise. You don't have to do it every week, but I would say just do it this week. Just a challenge for this week. To push yourself beyond what your comfort zone is, to push yourself beyond what is normally a challenge for you. Just see what's possible, see what you can do, see if you can stretch yourself a little bit this week, apply it and see what happens. Next week, we'll see if you want to do it again, but you don't have to. Just one time, go out, take action, take massive action. Maybe a system will come in place. Maybe you'll figure out a way to do it a little bit faster, a little bit better. But you got to start with something. And this week is calibration. It's go out, see how many calls you can make, how many people you can have a conversation with, how you can apply it. And to care if that makes sense. Awesome. And if you haven't heard me speak about the mentorship, well, the mentorship is awesome. It's how we help people become millionaires. I'm on a mission to build 100 millionaires who are inspired to build 100 millionaires. One of the reasons building millionaires is so much fun is because it helps you become a millionaire. I started off as an agent helping people buy real estate. Can you imagine that? That's a business that makes millionaires. It certainly is. The more real estate they bought, the richer they got. And the more closings I had, the richer I got. And what was smart that I did was the same thing that they were doing. As they were buying real estate, I was buying real estate. And over time, that made me a millionaire. That made me successful. Now that I've gotten to millionaire status, Ron and I have been having the conversation of how to get to billionaire status. And it's not the same thing. The things that got you to millionaire will not necessarily get you to billionaire. You see, the average billionaire has business interests as their majority investment. Real estate becomes a very small investment over time. In fact, Rich Dad Poor Dad pointed it out in his game Cash Flow Quadrant. Cash Flow 101. Who's played that game? Who's played Rich Dad Poor Dad's cash flow game? Look at the rat race, the internal circle. That's where everybody lives. And then look outside the rat race. There's no real estate out there. I think there's one or two real estate deals on the fast track. Everything is businesses. Buy a mine, buy a restaurant, buy a mechanic shop, buy a pizza place, right? In the rat race, when you're looking to get out, all the cards, right? Who remembers the cards? Those cards are like real estate deals, stock deals, or small businesses. There may be some small businesses, but it isn't. Those aren't there on the fast track. The fast track is about buying businesses. It's about buying cash flow. So there's a process. The first step is real estate. That is how you get there. But in a tight market like the one we're in, there are other assets that cash flow better. And it's up to us to pay attention to those, to learn them, to figure out how to do it. And fortunately, buying businesses is the same process with buying real estate, except no deeds. You still have a purchase and sale, and you still need an attorney. I want to open it up to the coaches. What feedback do you have? Oh, yes. Also, if you're interested in mentorship, go to waltermorello.com/GA or have a conversation with Darina, and Darina will drop her Calendly link in the chat. Awesome. Mitch Jaworski, you're up. Mitch, did you just jump in?
Making me find my microphone. Yes. So shoot your shot.
So, principle 31, when setting sales goals, go for no.
Exactly. Shoot your shot. Because if you don't ask, the answer is already no.
That's true.
So, I mean, by asking, yeah, you're technically going for no. But if you don't ask, the answer is no. I know you want something more profound, but
I was hoping for a rap lyric.
shoot your shot.
Let's
Well, you
give
should have
Mitch
let me go
Chorsky
last
a
time if
round
you
of
wanted a rap
applause.
lyric.
Dr. Terry Wager, you're up.
I have a lyric for you. It's called Crypto Call Tuesday 6:30. I know you want me doing it, so if I don't throw it out there, you're going to be sad. So 6:30 Crypto Call. Whoever wants to join in, I'll drop a link and you can sign up for it. It'll be a 30-minute Q&A to get rolling, and it's going to expand from there or something like that. So we've been talking about it for weeks. It's finally happening.
Tuesday at 6:30.
That's right.
Excellent.
So if you don't show up, I'll assume that I got my no. See what just happened?
Drop a link.
See what you did there. Yeah, drop the link.
Thank you. Thank you.
Drop the link.
Dr. Terry Wager, you're up.
You know, I love book titles, as you know. Quit Taking Your Own Bad Advice is all about getting people's attention. Go for No is also about getting people's attention. And the idea is really think about what no means, because when I hear no, it doesn't necessarily even touch what the person's no is all about. It's just my experience of no. And so if I'm allowing my experience to cloud the conversation, then I'm actually starting to take my own bad advice. And so with this idea of going for no, before you ever stop what you're doing when you get a no, you have to understand what the no is about. Is it no about the package? Is it no about the price? Is it no about the person? Is it no about the timing? What is the no having to do with? Because it may be yes, but they don't have any idea of how to get there with a yes. And so really going for no and understanding exactly what's going on behind the no is really important. So when I think about that book and I think about sales in general, it has nothing to do with yes or no. It has all to do with helping them to make a decision and understand what thought is going into behind the decision. That's what